everybody, I'm back with a fall favorites sweet treats video. So before anything, if you guys could like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, leave me a comment, whatever you'd like. Let me know what your favorite fall treats are. So first I made some applesauce. Very simple, very easy to make. You're going to need a half bushel of apples, 2 cups of sugar, and 5 tablespoons of cinnamon. So pretty much all you do is you take the skin and the core out of the apples, you put it in water, just cover it up on the stove, and let the apples boil till they get soft. Then you're going to put them in a large bowl. Make sure the bowl is fairly large, and you're going to mash them up with your cinnamon and your sugar, as fine or as thick as you'd like. And there's the finished product of that. Secondly, I made some walnut banana muffins. I listed all the ingredients here on the screen, and so I'm just not going to say them over again, but what I did was I added my bananas and my egg to a bowl, and then I'm going to add my oil, so pretty much the wet ingredients. You want to then add all of your other dry ingredients, and you're going to just give it a good mix. These are really good for freezing. So what I like to do with them is after they come out of the oven and they cool off, you have to let them completely cool off. I like to put them in individual baggies. They don't have to be freezer baggies. Put them in individual baggies, and then I put all of those baggies into a big freezer bag. Of course, make sure you label them if you're going to be making other kind of muffins. And pop them into the freezer. And then if I know that, I'm going to need a quick breakfast or something like that, I'll take them out at night and let them just defrost on the counter. Or you can take a few out and leave them in the fridge, and there you have an easy breakfast or a snack. So the walnuts in these are optional. You do not have to use them, but if you do use them, I recommend finely chopping them. It's kind of like a rough chop, but you do want to get them pretty small, because otherwise you're going to have these big huge pieces of walnut in your muffin, and that's not really my preference. So I guess if it's yours, you can leave them however you want. So I'm just chopping that all up, and then I'm going to add those into the rest of my mixture, and I'm going to reserve part of them. Again, this is optional, to just put on top of the muffin after I scoop it into the pan. So once I have all of the nuts chopped up and I add what I need to add into my ingredients and save the rest, I'm going to just give this a quick mash. And I do this with a fork because the bananas are they're still whole in there. What I should have done was mash the bananas before I started adding everything, but I wasn't really thinking about it. So I mashed this all up, get it into a batter. It is pretty thick. And then what I'm going to do is, you can put this into a loaf pan, or you can make it into muffins. I prefer to put it in muffins. I didn't have any muffin liners, so what I did was just spray my muffin pan with some butter spray, and then I just evenly distributed the batter into the muffin tin. And then I'm going to bake this on 350 for, I'm going to say, about 12 minutes. Maybe a little less. It's just going to depend on your oven. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check it. Maybe after 8 minutes, open it up, stick a knife into the center of one of the muffins. Make sure it comes out clean. So here's the final product. Chocolate chip cookies are better than they sound. First, you want to get your sweet potatoes softened, and then you want to get them in your blender and get them into a mash. You need 2/3 cup of sweet potatoes, and then to a mixer you want to add 2 cups of flour, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. You can omit any of these things or all of them, all of the spices if you want to, if you just want them to be sweet potato cookies and not so spicy. Now you're going to need a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. So, like I said, the spices are optional, but I like a little spicy cookie. And then you want to add 2/3 cup of brown sugar and 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. You want to put this all into a blender. Oh, almost forgot. You also need a 1/2 cup of sugar. You're going to put that all into a blender and give it a good mix. And then I added some vanilla. If you want a measurement for it, it's a 1/2 teaspoon, but I just measure with my eyes. I probably put much more than a 1/2 teaspoon in. And there goes my sweet potato mix. You can also use pumpkin mix for this if you really don't like sweet potatoes, but it kind of tastes the same once they get in there. So you want to give them a good mix. Don't put your chocolate chips in yet. When it's pretty much mixed up, then you're going to add your chocolate chips. I used semi-sweet chocolate, but you can use any kind that you like. It's about a cup of chocolate chips, but I put a little bit extra. And then once it's all mixed up, you want to preheat an oven to 350 degrees. And I don't have one of those fancy cookie scoops, so I just used a spoon. And I put about 6 generous size globs of cookie dough down onto my cookie sheet and popped it in the oven. Now, what I should have done and what I did for the next batch was spray the sheet, because when I tried to get them off of the sheet without spraying it, they kind of got a little bit scrunched together. So these are some awesome cookies. If you like the recipe, please like and subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thanks!